Hi, everybody, and welcome to Evolve Love. I am your host, Amanda, and I am so happy that you have found this podcast. Are you looking for daily inspiration, motivation, and wisdom to help you begin your day feeling supported and uplifted with love? Well, you have come to the right place. This podcast is a space of encouragement where you can be held in your self-development because in order to evolve, you need love, and it begins here with you. Now, let's get into today's episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Evolve Love and happy Wednesday. Happy Mercury Day. Today is a special day. It is not just Wednesday. It is not just Mercury Day. It's also my birthday. So I'm so excited for this because this has been a really fun, in my eyes, a really fun and lighthearted themed week this week here on the podcast. And I have just been celebrating in it so much. And I hope that it is sparking new ideas for you too, because as much as we want to acknowledge the depths of our journey, sometimes it's nice to just find the lightness in the journey too. So I'm really excited for today's class. As you know, on Wednesdays, I create the episode around a card that I pull. And today being my birthday, I am a Taurus, and also the moon today is in Capricorn. So I wanted to pick a deck that had earth energy. And so I picked The Sacred Forest by Denise Linn. This is one of my favorites. I feel really connected to it. And I think too, sometimes when that happens, it's like the messages on the cards just feel like that much more felt in the heart, or they just feel really personal. And so as much as this is a personal card for me, I really hope that this reaches you as well. So the card that we picked for today is the Phoenix, and I'll take a picture of it and put it on my stories on _ Evolve Love on Instagram so that you can see the image. But the Phoenix, and the meaning behind it is transmutation. This is a really beautiful card for so many reasons, and I'm going to get into that now. But I also feel like this really goes along with what we're talking about this week, about being curious, starting something new, learning something new. And so thoughts that I have around this. So when we think of the Phoenix, what is so unique about the Phoenix is it's constantly within a cycle. It dies off, it is reborn. So even when the bird is old and weathered and tired, it erupts into flames, and from the ashes, it transforms, reborn, reimagined as a new sense of self, brighter and more vibrant than was before. And this is honestly like so much like life. You know, in our life, we have many deaths and we have many rebirths. And a lot of the time when an ending occurs, it can feel really sad. It can feel heavy. It can feel like a lot of emotions that are difficult to hold and process. But at the same time, that ending is the chapter of a new beginning. And that, when we hear that, is lighter, it's brighter, it's unexpected. We don't know what this new beginning is going to hold for us. And so the beauty of the journey of the Phoenix, I think, is just so connected to everything in life. And today here being my birthday, it's like every year when we turn a new calendar year of ourselves, we sometimes reflect and we think back on that. How was this year for me? How was this past decade for me? How were the past 5 years for me? And most of the time you're going to notice tremendous change. Sometimes you may even feel like it's tremendous up level of energy. Sometimes you may notice that you aren't where you hoped to be. And that might be an awakening or a moment for you to adjust and reflect and to make changes. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. And with this too, you know, when we're talking about this in relation to this week's theme with transmutation, like the definition of transmutation is changing from one state to another. And in a way, when we are learning, that is something that we're doing because first, we don't know anything about a subject area. Second, we get the inspiration and the curiosity to learn about that subject matter. Step 3, we begin to make steps towards learning about that or to create a plan of how we may focus on that interest. And then step 4, as we have learned through the skill, received the material, received the knowledge, we begin to put it into practice, we apply it in our life, and we may even become skilled masters at that particular item. And then from there, it's either we continue growing in that subject area with maybe continuing our education, or maybe our interest is just there at that level and we move on to something else. So like, for example, I might apply it in the sense of like a professional career track. So say you are wanting to be, say you want to become a nurse. Let's say that. My mom is a nurse. I'll use this as an example. So she went to school to learn the skills of being a nurse. She went on to apply those into practice in her career for being a nurse. And then in that career, instead of just staying where she was, she continuing education to build on her knowledge and also to stick with the times of what was the latest and most important view of a certain track or of a certain subject or of a certain procedure, let's say. And then with that, you can keep growing and growing, or we can say, this is the point at which I have done all the learning in the subject matter that I want. And then we maybe collect in other subject matters that interest us. Hopefully you're following. Hopefully this makes sense. But I thought, like, how beautiful is that? Because we can constantly reinvent ourselves. And sometimes that's very scary. Like I said, endings have difficult emotions to hold. It can be scary. But then what a beautiful idea of what's to come next if we decide to try a new skill. And it doesn't even have to be like that big. Like you could say like, I want to pick up knitting. I want to learn how to knit. Okay. And then you're going into that whole field. You're learning about knitting. You're reading books. You're trying new patterns. I don't knit, so I have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But you know what I mean? And then you can just like continue that skill and continue getting better at it and honing your craft. Or maybe one day you put the knitting needles down and you say, I want to color instead. Okay. Whatever it might be. I think it's just such a beautiful journey that we can be on, and how we really should, in a way, take advantage of that. Take advantage of your curiosities, because there's something within you that is pushing you or like nudging you to take on something new. And that something new is only going to make your life, like I said the other day, it's only going to make your experiences richer, your life richer, your energy richer. And others are going to gravitate towards that too. You're just expanding your field. But also too, you are just expanding in a way that acts on your creativity and your inspiration. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. So today, with the image of the phoenix, where are you feeling old, weathered, and tired? Where are you ready to reborn or come into a brand new energy for yourself? Maybe it's not even just a skill. Maybe you're just focusing right now on the energy that you're holding. Or maybe you're coming here feeling like that bright, vibrant, brand new sense of self. Where is that going to take you? Take that energy, take that fire, start something new, learn something new. And it's just, to me, like such a beautiful thing. We live in such a time where information is so accessible to us. Like I think back to, my grandmother's house growing up, and she had like a whole wall of encyclopedias. And like, she couldn't, like, back in the day, like, she wasn't going to, like, go on Google and, like, look this up. She would have to pull out her encyclopedias. And then those would become old and outdated, and she would have to get the new set of encyclopedias. And I even remember learning, like, in school with that, too, because I remember that was, like, a skill, like, that we would do is encyclopedias or atlases or, like, all these random things. It was, like, a part of your skill set. And now we can just pull up our phones and we can do all this. But let's take advantage of that. And the information is right at our fingertips. So go after it. Try the things. Like I said yesterday, even look to see if there are apps out there to help you learn the skill that you're wanting to learn, or the energy that you're wanting to connect to. There's just endless potential for us. And that can be such a beautiful thing. So act on what is inspiring you today. Find what lights you up, continue on that track, and just know that it's only going to bring more brightness to your life. But also first, check in with your energy. Are you the old, tired bird right now, or are you the fresh, young, bright bird? and see where that goes. So I want to thank you all so much for being here on my birthday episode. And I am so looking forward to checking in with you tomorrow on Thursday. Make sure you are following the Instagram at _evolve love, because I've also been throwing in some random fun little offerings there, here and there when I'm able, and just a way to connect with you further. And I also love all the DMs you've been sending me about how certain messages land with you. And I just so appreciate that. And I appreciate you. So I want to thank you all so much for being here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.